guys, Winner Kills, and we're back with another deck profile. This is a friend of mine's deck. He let me borrow it to do a profile on. It's a pretty nasty deck. It's a Endymion spell counter deck. So I want to go ahead and put a little more variety in the channel with the decks that I personally own and expand to a little something different. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and let me know what you guys think. To get started, we're going to start with our monsters. Basically the staple of this entire deck. 2 Endymion, the Master Magician. I'm not even going to explain that. You don't want to run 3, because 3 is going to show up in your hand too much just with any, staple monster. 2 is a good number in this deck, so you can definitely draw on 2 a lot easier than 1, and you don't got to worry about clogging your hand up with these, and you don't get enough counters to summon them, or enough things to tribute for on the field. 3 copies of Breaker, the Magical Warrior. Basically a walking MST with the way this deck works. You got mid game, and this deck can go pretty well late game. You got a Citadel loaded up with counters, and pretty much once it gets on the field, it's not going to leave unless your opponent Dust Tornadoes it right off the bat, which is very unlikely. If they try to MST it, it's pretty funny because I've seen people try to do that, and it gets counter, removes the counter to destroy the MST, leaving the Citadel on the field. And in most turn, you can move a counter onto these and basically get rid of your opponent's back row for good. So 3 Break of the Magical Warrior, and he's a 1900 beater right off the bat. 3 Magical Exemplar. These guys are counter wells. They gain 2 spell counters for each spell played. So, and you can tribute off the counters to special summon a spellcaster with the same level as the spell counters removed. So you could definitely send 4 from the Citadel onto this to summon Breaker, or Defender the Magical Knight, or Blast Magician. So 3 Magical Exemplar. 2 Old Vindictive. Just a really nasty spellcaster card. We can search this with an Apprentice Magician that we do have in here, and set it in face down defense. So very nasty card to let your opponent run into. So yeah, 2 Old Vindictives for obvious reasons. 3 Defender the Magical Knights. Now this card is a very nasty card. This card gets a counter on it. Instead of it being destroyed, the counter will be removed from it instead. And you can reload it with a counter from the Citadel once per turn. And you will take damage if you leave him an attack, so I recommend switching your defense right away. He does have 2000 defense, so he's pretty much a wall with the counter on him. He's not going to leave the field, which secures our level 6 Synchros in this deck, which is what we do have a lot of, and our level 4 Ixies. 2 Blast Magician. For every counter on him, you can remove, and it times 700, so if it has 3 counters on it, remove 3 counters, and then times it by 700, just 2100 attack. You can destroy one monster your opponent controls with that attack or less. So 2 Blast Magician, good way to clear up the field if you got a lot of counters late game on the Citadel. And level 4 for our level 4 Axis. 3 Kraybons. This is not a spellcaster, but it's the only toon we run in this deck. He is going to be glued to the field, especially if you get him early game. If you top deck, you're top decking and basically going to draw him, because you can pay 800 life points to negate from him from being attacked and destroyed. And he does have 1200 attack, so he's safe from bottomless and stuff like that. So you don't got to worry about that. So 3 Kraybons. Help set up for our level 6 Synchros. So, and it's a very annoying card. So, definitely going to want that. And 1 Apprentice Magician. It's our search for Old Vindictive. And it's a level 2, and it can, you can add a counter to any card in the field when it's summoned. So, very helpful with a counter deck like this. Now for the spells. Now, majority of this deck is spells because it'll be the driving fuel for all of our counters for every spell that's played. 3 MST. Staple, really. This is basically the heart of the deck. 2 Magical Citadels of Endymion, the field spell, that will not leave the field. It's pretty much broken, in my point of view. 2 Terraforming to search our field spells. 1 Soul Charge. You can basically late game spam the field. Overlay, Synchro, whatever you need to do. Create tribute fodder for your Endymion if you needed to. 1 Bound Wand. Very helpful card. You could equip it to any spellcaster type, and its attack goes up by 100 for each level. So if you have Breaker, you can make him 21 without his counter, and if Breaker would be destroyed by battle, you can bring him back with the effect of Bound Wand. You can special summon him back to the field. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Lightning Vortex, 1 Smashing Ground, 1 Swords of Revealing Light, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Forbidden Lance, Shrink, and lastly, 3 Spell Power Grasps. These will put up to 2 counters on anything, because you get the counter for its effect, and you get the counter for a spell card being played. So very helpful, and it searches another Spell Power Grasp when you play it, and you can only use once per turn. But if you play it, you can add counters pretty much all across the board on anything like Exemplar, Breaker, and your Citadel. So these are our spells for the deck. A lot of spells. For our traps, just some staples really. 1 Bottomless, 1 Compulse, a Divine Wrath, very nasty card, 2 Deep Prisons, and 2 Mirror Force. So pretty self-explanatory with these 5 traps. And now onto the extra deck. 1 Master Key Beetle, 2 level 4 Darks, example 2 Breakers. There's your 2 level 4 Darks. 1 Maestroke. Big Eye, only in rare occasions if you got both Endymions out, 2 level 7s. 1 Gaga Cowboy. Very helpful late game if you can't get Endymion out right away. Number 104. Again, very helpful card, spellcaster type. It does have a nice burn effect. You need 3 level 4s, in which most of our monsters in this deck are level 4s, so not too hard of a card to get out. Black Ship of Corn, basically a staple by now. 1 Mighty Warrior, level 6 Synchro. 1 Explosive Magician. This guy is like Breaker on steroids. You can remove 2 spell counters from your side of the field and select and destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. So you can just keep... You can use his effect and basically just go nuts and just destroy your opponent's back row. And then the main killer of this deck, this is your win condition right here. Late game Tempest Magician. You can remove any spell counter from the field and inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each spell counter removed. And I think it's 16, and that's 8,000 damage total, and that is complete game with this one of these Tempest Magicians. Level 6 Synchro, so obviously you'd go Kraybons and any of our level 4s in this deck for the Tempest Magician. That is it for our extra deck. I do have a side deck for this. Nightmare Steel Cage, just to keep your monsters protected. No one can attack for 2 turns. Forbidden Dress, assist them down if you're playing like a Nasty Machina or a Girgia. Cyber Dragons, really. Enemy Controller. Dimensional Fissure will mess with any deck. Chizzer. I'm not sure if it's really too well known card, but it is a really good card. You can activate this when a monster you control is sent from the field to the graveyard, and then you can destroy 1 monster on the field. So you can get back at your opponent with anything. Acid Trap Hole to poke at face down cards. Even if it isn't 2,000, or if it is 2,000 defense or more, which I highly doubt it would be, because it's a very rare occasion, you still get to look at the card. 1 Trap Jammer, a Trap Stun, a Macrocosmos, basically some staples, a Torrential, Mind Crush, good for against like Bujin, Fire Fist, and Prophecy. DNA Surgery will mess with like Cyber Dragons and anything that's based on machines or dragons. A Royal Decree and a Needle Sealing, stopping decks that's from the field like Photons, Mermails, Evil Swarm. If there are 4 more monsters in the field, you can activate and destroy all monsters in the field regardless of their position. So, very good card to have. So that is it for this Spell Counter Endymion deck. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff. More videos coming soon. Winter kills, guys, and we'll see you later.